Welcome back to this week's At the Bar series with Rosie, editor of AdNews. So, Rosie, AdNews is obviously... Oh, sorry, we haven't cheers yet.
Oh,
cheers.
Don't forget that.
I know we're stinging for a drink, so it's that awkward part where we both drink at the same time, so it's just silence. Tell us a little bit about AdNews. You're obviously Australia's leading trade publication in this space. How does a powerhouse like that stay relevant in such a shifting and changing industry?
Well, it's always a challenge, and like any publisher of any size, publishing is going through a lot of challenges anyway, but particularly in advertising, media, marketing, it's changing quicker than you can write about it, than you can learn about it. And I think that's both a challenge and it's a blessing, because there's never a boring day in our industry. So we just have to make sure that we're keeping up with the right people, that we're talking to people that are at the top of their game and that, experts in their field, so that we're as informed as we can be. But it also means that we have to change what we offer. I mean, we started in 1928 as a print magazine. We just wrote about newspapers and newspaper advertising. We're completely different now. We're still in print. We've got a website, a daily newsletter, all of the social media channels. We do Snapchat, we do events, we do all kinds of things. So it means we have to evolve the way that we engage with our audiences as well. And we can't just sit on our laurels and think that, we've always been a print title, so we always should be. We just have to make sure that the way that we use those channels constantly changes to be the right way of getting the message across, and that we're on top of the subject matter that we talk about.
And that's a real challenge, being on top of the subject matter. I feel like when I watch nightly news, I'm almost watch what happened on social media yesterday. And they pretty much just take that and play it out for everyone the next day. How do you get that information? How do you stay on top of what's going on so quickly?
It's a huge challenge, and it really does, it depends what as a journalist is only as good as their contacts in the market, and if you have good contacts, you can be ahead of the curve and you can get things before other people. You can weigh up between being first and best, and if you can be first and best at the same time, then that's the ultimate.
There's no point being first but wrong.
Exactly, right, and it's a difficult balance to get, because you have to have that daily news, you have to have that social element, you have to have the quick reactive stuff. But where we also have a huge benefit from our print publication and some of the other stuff we do online is that we can do things in so much more depth, and we can really apply more time to them, and people read differently in print, so they have more time to read something that's longer, more in depth, more considered. We can stay on top of the daily news cycle, as well as offer something that's a lot more constructive, a lot more well thought out, and a lot of a deeper investigation into something. So
how do you decide on that? What goes into print and what actually just goes in the digital section?
So we have to apply a few questions to that, and it's kind of whether something is of immediate importance, and that means it's kind of a digital news thing, and it's what's happening now and why that's important. What we look for what's something that's going in print is it's more issues based. It's more like, what are the long-term issues affecting the industry? So how does the publishing industry evolving? How is the ad tech industry changing the way agencies and marketers invest their budgets? So these are kind of more infrastructure, big picture things, and that's really what we're looking at for sort of print. It's more considered, it's more opinions, more viewpoints, and more sort of analysis of those things. In that space, you're talking about evolving very quickly, and obviously there's online and print very differently, and threats to the publishing industry. Video. We love video here at Shootsta, obviously. Do you see that as complementary, a threat? Where do you see it fitting in with your I think you've obviously got a bias, but I think that there absolutely is a harmony between all of the new sort of channels that are emerging, and video is a huge part of that. When you look at the numbers of how much video content is both being made and consumed, it's huge, and it's only going one way, it's only increasing. So we know that we have to be more active and more visible in doing more video. So it is complementary, but the problem that we and other publishers, and I imagine all organisations have, is the resource and the skills to do that, because we're a very small organisation and we're predominantly traditional journalists. We're either online or we're print journalists by profession. And video is a completely different beast, as you guys would know. It takes a real expert to be able to translate those skills into video skills. And I think that it's definitely something that we want to do more of and should do more of. And I think that it complements everything we do. It's just a balancing up how you do it.
Good answer, and didn't slay video there, so we're happy, Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us this week. We'll be back next week with more from Rosie.